Hi, welcome to this lesson on selecting high probability impulse pin bar trades. So you should be getting these trade alerts daily on the impulse pullback and impulse pin bar. But bear in mind that all these trade alerts are potential setups. It doesn't mean that you take all the setups. In fact, on a given day, I may see 5 or 6 setups. I only take one of them, or I may not even take any of the setups. I only take the ones with high probability, and that's what assures me of a high win rate and constant profits monthly. So I'm going to show you what I look for impulse pin bar trades. So for impulse pin bar trades, I only take the high probability trades which have two characteristics. Number one, I must see no major resistance for long trades and no major support for short trades. So again, when I'm going long, I want to make sure that it is not a consolidation, where there's a resistance that could stop me from reaching my target price. At the same time, if I go short, there must be no major support, or I do not want it to be in a sideways pattern. Okay, so let me kind of like draw it so you understand, right? So for example, if the price is kind of like going up, down, like so, right, and it's kind of like a consolidation pattern. And if I see over here, for example, I've got the impulse pin bar setup that appears over here, I will not take this trade because again, chances are the price will go up and hit the resistance, come down and not hit my profit target. All right, so again, this is for going long. Now, when I'm going long, I ideally like to see this kind of pattern. Okay, where it's kind of like an uptrend wave pattern, right? That makes higher highs, okay, higher highs and ideally higher lows. And if the pin bar pattern appears somewhere over here, right, at the start of the dip, okay, I'll take the trade and it's high chance it will hit my profit target over here. And again, don't worry, I'll show you actual charts so you really understand what I'm talking about, okay? Now, at the same time, if I'm going short, right, if I'm doing a short trade, I do not want to see, again, a sideways pattern like that, okay, where there is a kind of like a support level over here, okay. So if I see the setup appear over here, short setup, I will likely not take the setup because chances are it will go down and it will not reach my target price because it would go down, hit the support, and bounce back and hit my stop loss. All right, so always make sure that it is not in a range. It is a clear uptrend when you're going long, downtrend when you're going to go short. So that's the first characteristic. The second characteristics of pin bar trades is that I want to ensure that just before the setup appears, before the pin bar appears, I want to ensure that the 50 EMA has not recently been broken. And I'm going to explain what I mean in a short while. But let me see if I can attempt to draw it and explain it for you, right? So again, this is the 50 moving average. This is a 50. Okay. And say these are the candles, right? So it's kind of like bouncing off the 50. And it breaks below the 50, right? And when it comes up, right, you have got the impulse pin bar pattern over here. So these are trades that I do not like to take because it has recently broken the 50 moving average. Okay, so chances are if I buy over here, take a long trade, it may swing down, okay, and hit my stop loss. Right? So that's what I mean by 50 moving average broken prior to pin setup. Let me show you one which I would like to take. So this is a 50 moving average. And in this case, the price is kind of like bouncing off the 50 and it does not break the 50. Now, if it goes down a bit below and it comes back, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. And over here, if the pin bar pattern appears, right, this is the pin bar pattern to go long, yes, I will take this trade because there's a high chance it will hit my target price. Okay, and again, I'll show you a lot of charts so you understand what it really looks like. So I'm just drawing it so you understand the concept right now, okay? So again, this is when you're going long. Okay. Now, how about going short? Let's look at a short example. So if I'm going short, okay, so what I do not want to see is, I do not want to see, again, say this is a 50 moving average, and the price is kind of like, breaks above the 50, comes down like that, and then you have got the pin bar pattern that appears. Okay, and to go short, right? So if you go short over here, okay, there's a high chance that sometimes after this big kind of like up and down, right, it may go up again, right, and it hits the stop loss instead of hitting the profit target. So again, this is what we call breaking the 50 moving average prior to the pin setup. So let me show you one that doesn't break the 50 moving average. Okay, so again, it hits the 50, comes down, and it doesn't break above the 50. Now, it can go a bit above and come down. Now, this is fine, but I do not want to see a big break up and down, okay? So if it goes slightly above the 50, comes down, and again, if you have that pin bar setup over here, pin bar setup, to go short, that would be a great trade to take, to short it, and it goes down and hits the target price. Okay, so hope you understand the concept. I'm going to show you some actual examples on the charts. So again, let's take a look at the first example, or the first characteristic, where in this case you can see that the price is moving in a range, right? Can you see it's like a range, like a consolidation, and you can see a very clear resistance, right? So there's a resistance, 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 okay? And over here you see a pin bar, right? A pin bar setup, right? So this is a pin bar, and based on the pin bar strategy, you would enter over there, right? And you put a stop loss over there, right? But in this case, I will not take this trade, although it may appear on the alerts. Why? Because of this strong resistance. Remember, the alerts can't see the resistance. You have to see it for yourself, because if you take the trade, there's a high chance it's going to go up and hit the resistance and hit your stop loss, right? So avoid the ones where there is a resistance if you're going long. Here's another example. So again, you can see a very strong resistance and resistance and resistance, resistance, okay? And again, a pin bar appears over there, right? There's a pin bar, okay? And again, I would not want to go long over here, because again, likely to hit and get into the resistance and not hit my profit target, right? Here's a short example. And again, you can see it's kind of like moving in a very sideways pattern with a strong support and a support and a support over there. Okay, so again, if there happens to be a pin bar pattern that appears over here, I will not take the trade, because if I'm going to go short, there's less chance I can break the support, right? So it may bounce and hit my stop loss again before hitting my profit target, right? So avoid consolidations, avoid support resistance when you're using this setup called the impulse pin bar. Okay, so now that you clearly understand what I mean by avoiding major resistance and major support, let's go on to look at the second characteristic, where the 50 EMA is not recently broken prior to the pin bar setup. So let me show you examples where the 50 EMA was not recently broken prior to pin bar setup. And again, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples just to show you what I'm talking about, okay? So let me zoom in. I know it's a bit small, so let me zoom in to show you the first one. This is a pin bar setup on Euro franc, and you can see over there, this is the pin bar that appeared, right, after the 6 crossing above the 18 EMA. Within 10 candles, we've got the pin bar appearing. So notice that before the pin bar appeared, right, the price did not break the 50 moving average. In fact, it bounced, can you see it bounced off the 50 moving average. So it showed that the 50 had a strong support, and the pin bar appeared. Take the trade, it would have hit your profit target, right? Here's another example. Let me just zoom in. So again, you can see over here, this is the 6 crossing 18 EMA. Within 10 candles, we've got a pin bar that appears over here. So again, before the pin bar appears, we have got the 50 being a clear resistance, right? So it does not break outside of the 50, right? It stays within the 50. So again, it was a winning trade. Another example over here. You can see over here, this is the pin bar, which I'm pointing to. Again, you can see the 6 crossing 18 EMA, pin bar appears. And again, just before the pin bar appears, you can see the 50 acting as a strong support level. It is not broken. We do not want the 50 EMA to be broken. Another example over here on EuroCAD. So again, you can see the 50 not being broken, right? Having a very strong support, and the pin bar appears over there, and again, it's another winning trade. Let's look at one last one. It's a short example, and again, you can see pin bar appears over here, all right? And again, the 50 was recently tested to be a strong resistance. Pin bar appears, short it, boom, hits our profit target, all right? So these are the setups that I look for when I trade. So let me show you the ones which I will not trade. These are the ones where the 50 was recently broken prior to the pin bar setup. Okay, so again, you can see over here, the pin bar appears. Can you see 6 crossing above 18? Pin bar appears, and before it appeared, what happened? We had this break, right? The price breaks below the 50, comes back up again, and that's not what I want. Okay, another example over here. Price breaks below the 50, comes back up, and the pin bar appears, and that's not what I want. Okay. Another one, you can see price breaks below the 50, comes back up, and pin bar appears right here. And again, if you had taken the trade, it would have been a losing trade. One last example. Again, you can see price breaks below the 50, goes above the 50, pin bar appears, take the trade, and losing trade. Right. So you can see that it is a very important rule to follow to get really good trades in. So let me zoom in and show you some really good pin bar trades that I took recently. So again, we have the 6 crossing 18 EMA. So within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, we have got the pin bar that appears. And again, the pin bar has to be very near the 50 moving average. And again, prior to the setup, the 50 was not broken. The 50 acted as a strong support. So we have got our buy entry over there, right above the high, stop loss, 8 pips below, profit target, 13 pips above, and this was a nice winning trade on New Zealand dollar. Okay, another one. Again, you can see the 6 crossing above the 18, 1, 2, within 2 candles, we have got the pin bar that appears. Okay, and again, you can see the 50 was not broken, So again, buy order, stop loss, profit target, another winning trade. Okay. Let's take a look at one more example. And again, you can see over here, we have got the, that's right, crossover was here. All right, 6 crossing 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, within 8 candles, pin bar appears. Okay, and again, you can see that, oops, sorry. You can see that the price did not break below the 50. Like I said, it can go slightly below and come back, that's fine, but I do not want it to break right below and come back up, like a big V shape. So a slight break and coming back, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. Let's look at a short example over here. Around 6 crossing below 18. And again, within 2 candles, we've got the bearish pin bar. And again, you can see the 50 was recently not broken. All right, it was slightly broken over here. There was a break over here. But then just before the setup, it found a resistance on the 50. So it can have been broken before, but before the setup, we do not want it to be broken. It must show a good resistance on the 50 moving average. Right? And again, you can see our entry was over here. stop loss over here, and profit target over here. So this was a very nice winning trade again. Okay. All right. So that concludes finding high probability setups for the impulse pin bar setup. Again, if you've got questions, please send me an email. If you would like to clarify, feel free to send me screenshots of your trades so we can review them to make sure you're following the rules and getting the results that you should be getting. This is Adam Koo, and I'll see you in the next lesson.